All right, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning in to Bali Unplugged podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BaliPropertyFinanced.com, where we reduce the barriers to entry so you can own your own first property business in Bali safely and securely. Don't forget to stick around to the end of the podcast because our guest may or may not have a little gift for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bali Unplugged podcast, your local guide to understanding the Bali business landscape from tourism, property experiences, and everything else you need to know when coming to Indonesia. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Olivia Purba, author, blogger, and specializing in eco-sustainability consultancy. Please give it up for Olivia. Olivia, tell us, a little bit about your history, where you're from, and how your childhood has sort of shaped, you as a character and your sort of success here in Indonesia.
Okay, hi Chris. Thanks for having me here in your podcast. I'm Olivia. I'm originally from Sumatra, North Sumatra, close to Singapore and Malaysia for people who hasn't been out yet outside of Bali. I've been in Bali for 7 years in and out because I also travel a lot abroad. I think I live abroad too. Like I studied in Australia for my master's degree, and after I finished my master's degree, I studied environmental management. I decided to come to Bali to get a job. I got a job in an NGO where I traveled to eastern part of Indonesia to help farmers and young farmers on the sustainable agriculture for a few years. And then I work for a startup as well on plastic recycle using gamification models, and then now I'm doing some consultant work as a sustainability consultant.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So how did you get, like, obviously, you said you got a job in the NGO. How did you get into this industry? Was this something that you're always passionate about? What sort of sparked that interest?
Yeah, I would say I was born in a small yet beautiful town in North Sumatra. It's similar like Bali. The main income of the people is from agriculture and tourism. And I saw in front of my eyes how people building resorts and hotels in a very unsustainable way. So they build it on the cliff, for instance, without thinking about the impact to the environment. And as a result, there are many drugs and
oh no.
And then the agriculture impact the agriculture, of course. So I thought, why people only think about profit? They don't think about the long term. They only think about like short term profit, and they don't think like how it impact the community there, the local community. And a lot of this big resort is also foreign investment. So at one point maybe they can just like leave and invest somewhere else, but people who are from there, they're the one who get impacted the most from this kind of development that is not caring about the environment or the people around it or the community around it. So that's how I got interested on the environmental issues general. So I went to the university in Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia. I studied international relations because at the time I want to be a diplomat, but then really? but now like I work for the government short time, like only 1 year. Negotiating Indonesian position for the UN, UNFCCC.
So fill us in what DUN means.
United Nations. Should I explain that?
Sorry. Oh, the UN.
Yeah.
The UN. Okay, United Nations. Yes.
United Nations. Yeah. So like helping the diplomats negotiating Indonesian position for mitigation and adaptation for climate change in Jakarta. But then I thought I'm not really. I don't think I'm good at working with the government, because it's very top down level. Even though I enjoy that time, like I travel to provinces, most of provinces in Indonesia, to implement the policy, or trying to get the information. So I try to implement the policy to the local government. But it's just, I think it's not my personality to have this kind of bureaucracy, or it's stiff. Working with the government is quite stiff, the work that you're doing. So I quit the job, and then I worked for other company, building a university in Jakarta with some politicians as well. And then I got scholarship to study in Australia. I was there for 3 years, and then when I always, so all my life I always think that because our work is what we're gonna spend the most in our life, right? Like we dedicate our time to work. So it has to be something meaningful. It has to have a purpose. It's not only about getting rich. It has to be beyond that. Okay, so I always think that if we gonna do a job or work, it should be something beyond just making profit, getting rich. It should be something more meaningful. How we contribute to society, how we contribute to the environment. So that's why I thought before, like, I'm just gonna work with the government, or I work with the NGO, because then I dedicate my time and energy to do something positive to people, not only providing food on my table, but how I can also contribute to the surroundings. But then after some time working with the NGO, I realized that it's not sustainable too, because I always need to write grants for people, for companies, or for organization, or for foreign government to support us to continue our work.
Wow.
And that's how I get interested to work in social impact or startup, social impact startup, or social entrepreneurs, because then the model is, you still think about profit, but then you think about how the profit can also be beneficial for the environment, for the people, how you empower local community, how it it saves the environment, or it keep the environment pristine, stuff like that. So that's how I get so that's how I get more interested.
So what you're saying is the reason why you moved from NGOs to directly working with businesses as a consultant is that you can have a direct impact rather than going around in a circle, because you have to apply for grants, you have to do all this stuff between the NGO and whatever company that's applying for the help.
Well, when I was working in the government, it's more like top-down approach, right? Because you create a policy and then you try to implement that. It will be like a long-term goal. When I was working with the NGO, it's different, because you design a program that will impact the livelihood directly to, let's say, like, I don't know, it depends on the target, like 2,000 beneficiaries in this area. It's very specific. But the thing is with the NGO, I don't think the model is sustainable, because then NGO rely heavily on grants
On
and
government grants.
grants, or CSR, or like individual donation. So at the time I thought, because I worked a lot of this grant, and I thought, oh, I'm kind of tired, like trying to inline the interest of this NGO with the interest of this organization, because of course they don't want to give you grants if you're not if their interest is different, So that's how I was lucky, because I was stuck in Argentina during COVID for 5 months, and they closed the international flight. We were on holiday there. When I was in Argentina, I was offered by a startup on plastic recycle to start working. Based in Bali. So we returned after 5 months stuck in Argentina to Bali, to Indonesia. and I start implementing as a community program manager, implementing projects to benefit the livelihood of scavenger like plastic collectors in Indonesia, in 10 provinces in Indonesia. So then I see from my own eyes like how creating this program of giving them like a health insurance, even though it's a program from the government health insurance, but a lot of people who are below poverty, like really simple
Yeah.
people, they don't
Mm.
know about this. They don't have
The dangers. No.
education. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't have access. It's we need to outreach them and then educate them that they can get this benefit. And in fact, a lot of our scavengers, they're very prone to disease, right? Because they go to
Yeah.
yeah, to the bins and like checking like
Yeah.
trashes. Yeah, so we educate them, and a lot of them like thankful because now they can go to hospital for free, covered by this health insurance, government
Amazing.
health insurance. And when the family die, the kids who are one of their scavengers die, and then the kid get the insurance from the insurance from the government as well, that we introduce them,
Yep.
and the kids can continue the work. He can still continue the school.
Yep.
So yeah, it was kind of um,
That's
uplifting.
beautiful.
Like yeah, that's yeah, I kind of enjoy it because I think even though we help people, but it's not an NGO. Like we still need to think how we can be profitable, and it motivates us to also grow the company, because then the profit that we're getting is also beneficial for the community or for our partners. We call it our partners.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's how I get interested on the importance of engaging with the private sectors or companies for social impact as well. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Wow. So, um, I see you have a massive, massive focus on really keeping it green, and it's a beautiful thing that you can be able to enter an industry and really start to help shape and make a huge impact. Because it's sort of like a lot of the times when people are sort of thinking this stuff, they're like, "What can I do as an individual?" But you've gone and shaken up, the industry by being able to like go in and help programs like companies like this, and
Yeah.
then implementing programs for them. That's great. So um I guess this leads me to my next question. You know how do you balance your personal and professional life in Bali? Obviously, because you're on the road so much, and I also see that you also do your blogs as well and your stuff on traveling. Tell us a bit about that.
How do I balance between my personal and professional life?
Yeah.
I don't. Well, I kind of like, I do appreciate life and work balance. So
Yep.
I'm not too much into, let's do like this. Like after 7, my brain just shut off. Like
Mm,
I'm a morning person. So and in the evening I can't think. I can't do anything else. I will be very, very slow. So it's
that's
better
it.
for me to do something. I don't know, hang
Everything in the
out with
morning.
friends or
Yeah.
watching TV. So it's natural. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, it's. I saw this. As you were speaking, I saw this video post earlier today about I think it was Cody Sanchez. Yeah, Cody Sanchez. She was saying when she looks for people to hire, she'd rather people who are obsessed rather than just interested. And to me, it seems like you're someone who's absolutely obsessed with being able to make a social impact. Um,
Mhm.
was there like obviously we touched upon where you come from and the social impacts. Was there an instance in your childhood where you saw something and you're like, wow, like what can I do? Was there a moment like that in your life when you were a child or a teenager or yeah?
Yeah. I think the one that I mentioned, like growing up, I saw how the hotels built the development
Mm,
on the edge or on the hills, and it creates drought and
mm,
landslide, and
mm.
or the farmers couldn't harvest because the season is unpredictable now. So
Was that personal? Like personally, did you have like family that were farmers who were impacted?
not really. My mom is a dentist and my dad works for the government. So
Yeah.
I don't really have the impact, but we talk about politics and
Mm,
social issues on the or
mm,
during our dinner table
mm.
when we have a dinner together. So that's maybe how it shaped me into like yeah care about this issue. Yeah.
That makes sense because if your father's inclined like this and your mother is also in a business as a dentist, then that's obviously how your language is shaped, and that's what sort of inspired you.
Mm,
Um, it's funny you say that because when I first visited the Philippines in 2013,
mm,
our countries are very similar, and
yeah.
we've got a huge, uh, you know, um, lower class demographic, and the middle class is even like it's quite big, but the distance between the middle class and the upper class is huge. It's
Mm,
absolutely huge. And what I noticed when I would walk the streets and go visit some of my friends in Manila and Makati is that uh, some of the people would be burning their trash on the side of the roads, and that trash would contain plastic. And I'd look around and I'd smell the air, and I'm like, "That's like plastic. What are they doing?" And it's crazy that you were saying that you do this outreach and you outreach to the locals because they don't understand it. And the other day, I was just walking in my neighborhood and I saw like this plastic remains because the neighbors had just burnt their plastic. Um,
yeah.
so how do you obviously educate the workers, but is this also an outreach program to the schools, or how does this work? Does you know
Yeah. So yeah, I was in the Philippines actually last year for 2 months. I was studying there, so I saw it too, like
Beautiful.
how the disparity between the social classes there. It's kind of
Yeah,
similar in with Jakarta, I think, but it's quite different from Bali, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, because of family structure in Bali.
Mm,
Um, and so yeah, but that's like for my previous job. I work for that startup, but I quit already. So we it's not like we outreach to them, but already scavengers in Indonesia. If you notice that, it's like
mm,
it's kind of like freelance job. It's informal job. They kind of
mm.
take trusses because then they can sell it, right? They take it from household, from restaurant. They take PET, the bottles, like drinking bottles. They take the particular type of plastic that can be recycled, easily be recycled.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
like
Yeah, so they can
PLDT.
recycle that and they sell
Yeah,
that off to what, the
yeah.
plants or
So they sell it to the collectors. We call it collectors, and collectors will
yeah,
sell it to the recycle
plants.
center. Yeah,
Mm.
that will turn it into pallets, like small pallets, and
Yeah.
then it will be sold abroad for companies that want to use it and claim it as
Mm.
how they do the recycle. But most of the companies only do 4% of the recycle. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the like big brands that you've heard out there, if they said, oh yeah, we recycle, but the truth is only very small person, because it's more advantageous for them. It's bringing them more profit to create the packaging from virgin plastic, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I've actually heard of some. I think they're NGOs or charities where the trash is collected, recycled, and then turned into furniture. But the furniture resells for not like a quite a staggering price, like almost $900. Is
Yeah.
this something that you've heard of? Is this a program that
Yeah.
you're familiar with?
Yeah, we know it already. But I think this what they do is for a plastic that can be hardly be recycled.
No.
Yeah, so it's kind of like upcycle process, because
Yeah.
they kind of turn the plastic into something that reusable, but
Yeah.
the value is increased, right? And it's very niche market. Only people who like care about the environment and have the
Yep.
means, have the money to buy this product, that will purchase it. Yeah, so usually it's like multi-layer plastic that is really hard to separate or very expensive to process. Then they turn it into, it's also alternative way of reducing the waste.
Right. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why it's expensive, is because it's a type of plastic that's not necessarily degradable through a manufacturing process, and you have to have
Right.
special machinery.
Yeah,
At the
yeah.
same time, it sounds like it's the value is also based on it being also a conversation piece for the upper echelons. Hey, look, I've invested in this like eco-sustainability
Exactly.
thing, and and it
Yeah,
becomes something that they can show off in their house. Okay,
that's true.
that's
And
interesting.
also the machine that they use to process that is quite expensive too, and very rare. That's why the price tag is expensive at the end.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, what do you think also about solar power? Is there any government incentives um, for solar power generation, and then putting energy back into, like, is this something that you're familiar with, or really it's all
Mm. I think you need
recycling?
to interview someone who is familiar with the solar, because there will be technical jargons on that, and I'm not
Hmm.
confident to talk about this because that's not my expertise. But speaking of solar panel, I think it's become more and more trend in Bali in general to use it as it's not substitute. It's just additional to the electronics from the electricity from the government to reduce, because in the long term you kind of like, I think between 5 to 7 years, then you can get a return of investment from having the solar panels on your roof. But it's only
Oh,
done, yeah, but it's only
okay. So it's a
done
tax
by
rebate or
so it's,
tax write-off.
yeah, yeah. So, but only I think like big villas or the owners are conscious about environmental issues that want to invest on
Hmm.
it, because it's not really cheap. It's not that cheap actually to have a solar panel on your roof in Indonesia.
It is.
More than 50 million. It also depends like how many panels that you need, but it's
Hmm.
usually like more than 50 millions could be I don't know, like 100 million rupiahs. So
Yeah, that sounds about right. That actually sounds about right, because it's very similar costing in Australia, but the only difference is that in Australia the government subsidizes the installation,
mm,
ultimately, making it very affordable for you know
yeah.
owners, as well as there's some sort of rebate scheme for, like, if you
Mhm,
put power back into the grid, you actually
mhm.
get paid
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
for generating that power.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
the government don't do that. We don't subsidize it here, and also we don't get the rebate as well. So the government stopped. They were planning to have it, but they stopped it for
Mm.
some reason. I think maybe in a few years' time, or we will have it. But at the moment, only people who care about the environment who
Yeah.
actually invest on that. Otherwise, it's not really that profitable and a high cost of upfront investment.
Yeah. I guess that Indonesia, the government has its plans in when they're gonna introduce it. I think that obviously there's certain industries that need to be looked after, so they, like, people's jobs don't get lost and whatnot.
Mm,
So
yeah.
okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the unique challenges that you've faced as a Indonesian, but living in Bali. Obviously, Bali is not your hometown. What kind of challenges do you face between you and Bule, or expats, and as well as you and the Balinese culture itself?
Okay. I would say I don't really have challenges. I don't see it as a challenge. I think it's pretty
Mm.
easy, breezy life in Bali.
Mm.
Balinese are very accepting, they're very friendly, they
Mm.
are very kind people.
Mm.
Because I've lived in Medan, it's a very tough city. Medan is in the capital of North Sumatra. There are around 6 million people there, if I'm not mistaken. I've lived
Mm.
in Jakarta. It's also kind of similar like Manila. You need to be like always cautious about your belongings and
Yeah.
don't trust everyone. But in
Mm.
Bali, people, like, I've lost things many times, but it always end up back to me, just because people are trying. Yeah, they're just kind. They are not having bad intention. Like if they can be nice to you, then they will try to be nice to you as long as you're not bad to them as well, I think. So I don't see challenge. I think everyone agree. People who have visit here, they want to return back. People who just visit for I don't know, like a week or 2 weeks, they decided, oh, actually, I really like Bali. I want to live in Bali because it's just like very comfortable life. Like the living cost is cheap and the culture is nice. So I understand why people end up here. I was also, when I moved here for work, I was planning just to work for 2 years because my intention to come here was actually, I was working hard at it, I was working hard and I thought, like, okay, I'm going to be in Bali because I saw Eat, Pray, Love, if you watch it. And the Eat, Pray, Love, like this lady come to Bali and heal, right? So my intention was to heal myself while also working. But I end up meeting a man who become my husband, and this guy was also like planning to be in Bali for 1 month, and he ended up liking Bali and just want to be living in Bali. So it was So I think
it's serendipity that you just happened to meet the man of your dreams, and you fell in love on the island.
No, it was not serendipity. It was intention, because the movie Eat, Pray, Love was she came to Bali and
you
she
manifested
found love.
it.
Yeah, she found love, and I also like, okay, I'm gonna be like this lady. I'm gonna go to Bali and I'm gonna heal and I'm gonna meet my future husband. So it happens.
Amazing.
So I don't see the challenge. I like living in Bali. People are friendly, and I think I got the advantage of both because I speak Indonesian, of course, and so I can get like local deals. I can easily find stuff that people might be expat couldn't find because they don't speak the language, they don't know the way and stuff, or maybe they need to try harder to get it. But also because my husband is a Dutch, so I also have like a community. I'm close with the community, expats community as well. So I kind of understand what they like, what they don't like, what they what they appreciate here. So making business also easier for me because I understand their perspective. If I'm like doing something, for instance, like we have some properties here, I understand how to make it nice, for comfortable for them. Stuff like that.
Tell us about your interest in sustainable properties. Because I remember the last conversation we'd had, we were talking about certain types of builds. Give us some insight on that.
Yeah, sure. I think it's very hype now in Bali, right? Like you're also into property. You are hardcore sending message every day to the group about the like questions fire up. Yeah, but it's also concerning because like the reason why people go to Bali is because they appreciate the nature, the culture. When things are building up, I think you've heard it many times on other conversation as well. So if the buildings and development keep in this speed, it's people will appreciate it less. And there will be like more and more building, like you see in Kuta now, it's abundant because people start moving to Canggu. I think the trend will be like moving to the north, more to the north. And what happened if it feels like seasonal, like because the community is now in Canggu, everyone just start building in Canggu, but we don't know how long it's gonna last. It's not gonna be forever. And if people just changing all the agricultural land into the walls, and I don't think people will like it as much as they do and right now. So that's how I end up, because also it's my background in sustainability. So that's how I end up. I want to build something, but I want to build something that is close to nature as well. It's not like I'm building walls beautiful. And I'm building walls and away from the community, like a very different
a nice secluded area, maybe on a beach or on top of a mountain.
So the one that we're building right now, so I'm testing out right now. We're building a tiny house. It's tiny. It's a small house, tiny house. And I'm incorporating all the elements of sustainability there. So passive buildings means that the light is natural. We try to get the natural lights from the sun. So the positioning of the house should be ideal, like the bed facing the east, blah blah blah. and a
Mm.
lot of windows, so the wind will flow naturally, so we don't need
Mm.
AC, or if we need air, we just install like a fan. But of course, there will be AC in case.
Mm.
And the lighting will be LED lightings, and we're gonna have like permaculture. I don't know if you've
Oh,
heard about
beautiful.
permaculture.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Permaculture. We're gonna build. We're gonna have like a native plants there, like tropical native plants.
Mhm.
There, like mango and rambutan. If you know rambutan, like this here
Nice.
currently.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
rambutan. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's tasty.
herbs and everything. What else? Yeah, the element using refurbished woods.
Yeah,
And also like respecting the culture. So we're gonna do some ceremonies and
you have a
follow
temple.
what the
Mm.
locals, yeah, follow what the
Mm.
locals do there. Um, and because it's tiny, so it's not using a lot of energy,
Mm.
but it's still comfortable to live as well.
Very conservative. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So because I also like, for instance, like right now we have a pool in our
Mm.
house, like small
Mm.
small pool, but no one really use it. But how many? You think about it, like how many energy that we use to clean the pool every day, to light the
Keep it
pool, to
pumping.
keep it pumping. Yeah. So I don't see the point of having it when you barely use it. When I
Yeah.
barely use it, maybe we
Yeah.
use it like 2 times a year. It's just like it's just nice to see, but it's not useful. So I don't see the point if we can save energy and save money too from not having it. Instead, we're having the permaculture and plants that we can eat at home, and we can bring it to the table, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
You're really on the pulse with with the whole eco-friendly stuff and really being mindful of your energy consumption. I think that's also the reason why we moved out of a villa and
Mm,
into a three-story house is because
mhm.
who needs a pool? Like, we can make do without the pool and then still have a better outcome because now we've got more rooms because we're not paying for top end luxury, which
Yeah.
not everyone like needs. I mean, sure, if you're a traveler, it's nice to have those things that you can take photos of and whatnot. But for someone who's like you, a couple, living and trying to be as green as possible, I think that's super important. So
Yeah.
let's jump back to the whole eat, pray, love thing because there's a lot of
You like the idea, yeah?
yeah, I love it. I love it. Actually, it's one of the reasons why I came here as well
Mhm.
because I came out of a broken marriage and COVID. I lost all of my businesses.
Mm,
Um, and there's a lot of lads out there, and even females, who have sort of gone through COVID,
yeah.
had massive breakups. Maybe they lost their jobs. Maybe they lost their businesses. Ultimately, they become broken in some sort of way or shape
Mm,
or form. And they're looking to move to the east. They want to get away from the Western culture,
mhm,
where people are just sort of stuck in their phone, in a concrete jungle, and they just all it is 9 to 5, switch on, switch off, clock in, clock out. Um, and they want to get away from those kinds of people or
mhm.
even that culture where like everyone just talks about the past and not about something of the future or creating something new.
Yeah.
So tell us, give us an insight for the people who are looking to fall in love in Indonesia and find their perfect person, whether it's a local Indonesian or whether it's another foreigner. Tell us how the channels or avenues that you went down to just place yourself in the vicinity of people that you might be able to connect with.
I'm not sure if I can help in this case because I heard often my female friends saying like, "Oh, I've been in Bali for some time. It's so hard to find a person who can do like a long-term commitment. Like a lot of people here are just into like short-term commitment and they don't want to, commit on something for forever, for instance. So maybe I'm just lucky, like I just met this guy who
Mhm.
just traveled here and we're on the same page somehow. But I
Mm.
would say that if you know
How,
what you
how,
want.
how did you meet? Like, where was there a specific location that you met at?
No, it's this classy online dating.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
it was online dating. Okay.
yeah, yeah. But
Right. I thought you put yourself in a location. It's like a coffee
no,
shop
no,
or
no.
oh, okay.
We need to utilize technology, it's 21st century.
Well, I'm kind of old school, so I prefer meeting people in person because I just find like online dating a little, it's a little
Yeah.
weird.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, but I think I put it already. I'm very clear that I'm looking for. I put it there that I'm not into castle, so people understand that if they're into
Yeah.
castle, then they're not.
Yeah.
We're not going to be matched, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I said like it's very important too that you know what you want. You understand yourself. Like, what do you
Mhm.
want? Are you looking for long term, or you're looking for something fun?
Yep.
And then just put it yourself out there, and then you're gonna match with the same energy, you know.
Ah, so you just
Yeah.
really just leave it to instinct and just focus in on what you want so that you can basically attract the partner
Yeah, yeah,
that you're
yeah,
looking to bring in.
yeah. A lot of
Um,
people say like, "Oh, I don't know what I want, but like I like to date." Of course, like that you don't, you're confused. Other people even more confused because you don't know what you're looking for.
yeah. So I've had a lot of like women ask me, oh, Chris, I want to come to Indonesia. I want to find like my guy, and the one of the biggest questions that pops up is security. Especially
Mm,
walking the streets as a female foreigner.
yeah.
What kind of advice may you have around being safe?
Um, I think Bali is pretty safe, Like I've
Mm,
traveled to over 70 countries in the world, and I think
mm,
Bali is still one of the safest place that I know. Because even like walking around 11 o'clock alone, of course the Gojek will ask you, "Hey, do you need transport?" But they're not trying to like intentionally trying to how to
Kidnap you.
yeah, kidnap you. Yeah, but I think like elsewhere in the world it's also common sense, like using your common sense. You're not gonna walk alone in a narrow street dark. You still
Mm,
need to like find people around that also walk towards the same direction and not trying to put
mm,
yourself in a dangerous situation. But even here, like even it's dark, I think it's still pretty safe. And I think the level of criminal here is
very little.
significantly low compared to, let's put it like Latin America, for instance.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe like the most you will get like just what do you call it, that snap your wallet while you're,
Ah, bag snatchers.
yeah, bag snatches. Maybe that's the thing that is more common
Yeah.
these days.
Mm.
But I think as long
I guess
as
I guess
you're
that usually happens
mindful.
more when you're on a bike rather
Yeah,
than anything
exactly,
else because they
exactly.
can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
drive away really fast.
Yeah, or like if you go to the club and you get drunk, and it was like a concert or whatever, like sometimes it happened too, but
Mm,
it's very rare. Like people try to put a gun, like it's also
mm,
banned in Indonesia, gun or
mm,
knife on you and ask you money or wallet is
mm,
very very rare. I never heard that too. Yeah.
mm. So how do you? So I guess this also leads me to my next question: is how do you stay in touch with, like, how do you stay connected with your particular community? Like, do you go to events? Do you do you do speaking gigs? Tell us more about what your experience around that is.
Yeah, because I was abroad. Like my husband and I traveled to 15 countries last year. It was a bit too much.
Woo!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we returned to Bali December, just before New Year. So I thought, well, you know what, I need to reconnect with people that I know here, because it's nice to travel, but it's nice also to have a like friends around, like community around that I know. So trying to reach out again with friends, like I always try to, to connect with people through WhatsApp or something. Hey, how are you? Blah blah, blah, just like small talk.
Mm,
And like I think I attend more and more networking event these days, especially the long term one, because Bali is so transient. Like even now, like I've been. Can you hear me? I think it's a bit breaking.
yeah.
Um, yeah, even though I've been in Bali for 7 years in and out, I still struggle to have like long-term friends, because maybe people say, let's say like 3 years, and then they move somewhere else, they get a job,
Oh,
or like,
the internet
yeah,
connection's cutting in and out.
yeah, sorry, I think it's my connection. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so you cut out from still struggling to have long-term friends.
Yeah, even after 3 years, sorry, after 7 years here, it's still a challenge to find long-term friends here. Sure.
All right. Oh, okay. So we're back now. Sorry, guys. We just had a brief technical difficulties. What were we talking about?
Struggling of expat. Like,
I think it was date. Was it dating?
oh
It was
yeah, oh
it was
yeah, you
it was
mentioned about
girls,
your friend, yeah, your girl, a friend's girl, female friend.
not my girlfriends.
Yeah, female friend. What
Yeah,
happened to
friends.
her?
Yeah, yeah.
What
Yep.
happened?
Okay. So I think the last thing that you mentioned was struggling something. I just all I did was write a note here too. Uh,
Uh-huh.
you're struggling. So I think you were talking about you. First, we were talking about uh, online
Finding
dating.
online dating, exactly. And
Online
then
dating. Then
yeah.
I think we moved into security of like going into the walking the streets and whatnot and
Mhm.
bag snatching. Um,
Bag snatching, yeah. And then adjusting with the Balinese life, yeah, we talk about it. Yeah.
yeah, I think people who wanted to find like love here in Bali.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I think I already mentioned that depends on the intention, right? Like
Mm.
um I don't think it's something. I don't think because finding love is not like a business, you know. It's
No.
yeah, it's just a destiny. If you're meant to be like wherever in the very random place, you're just gonna find it. It's just happened that
Mm.
I have intention and I found the guy as I planned.
Mm.
But maybe not everyone have the same experience, and it shouldn't because the law of life is very unpredictable. Yeah.
Exactly. It is. It is. The love life is pretty unpredictable, but that's the beautiful thing about Bali. People come here to heal, and I think irregardless of whether you're at the stage of okay, I just want to have fun, or whether you want to become serious,
Hmm.
there's people for all that you can meet from all walks of life, and
Yeah.
that's a
Oh,
beautiful thing. Yep. Go
I
on.
remember now. We're talking about long term living in Bali. That Bali
Long
is
term.
so transient. Yeah, I still experience that after living in Bali in and out for 7 years. I attend many networking events because even my friends that I built connection before they left already after 3 years in Bali, for
Mm.
instance, they for them maybe especially for people who can't get a remote works, right? They need to
Mm.
come back to home to get the real job for them,
Mm.
or if they miss their family and they think that their life is actually wherever they were before,
Mm.
and they will return. So it's still, even after 7 years, still a struggle for me to find a long-term friendship here. That's why there are this group,
Ah.
yeah, that's why
Yep.
there's this group of like meet up long-term only, because it's so exhausting to meet people and start to explain yourself again, like who are you, where you from, what do you do, like all the time. And you just want to like stable friendship, you want to have
Yep.
deep connection. So
Mm.
that's why I attend the even a long-term tenants or long-term
Long
uh,
term expats. Yeah.
expats in Bali.
Yeah.
And like now making friends for me like very intention. Like
Mm.
I need to know whether this person actually have a same interest with me, living in Bali too for a long term.
Mm.
Not just maybe in my late 20s when I just moved here, I will just like hang out with party people, just have fun,
Mm.
just do whatever like hypes in Bali. But
Mm.
now after sometimes I get tired of partying, I get tired of like go
Yep.
to beach club, go to like nice restaurants, nice
Mm.
resort. And at one
Mm.
point just want to be alive, like just want to have something more
Yeah.
meaningful conversation, meaningful friendship,
Mm.
meaningful business. So yeah, I think a lot of people who live in Bali for long term might have the same experience as well. They will try to build their friendship that is more um, how to say, more growth.
Yeah, with the idea of longevity, you want to have
Yeah.
like friends that you can rely on and whatnot.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting you say that because when I was first introduced into Indonesia, my housemate would tell me, "Look, you're gonna get real tired real quick of people who are in and out because you can't sustain like a long term friendship."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's interesting that you say that. Uh, so Olivia, tell us, for the Indonesians who are sort of looking up to someone of your status, someone who's able to go out there and carve out a piece of an industry for yourself. Um, how you get yourself out there writing books and whatnot. What kind of advice do you have like for local Indonesians who want to really sort of step up the game, whether they're taxi drivers or sorry, drivers, or whether they run, a tourism business, or what kind of advice would you have for, local Indonesians to really sort of step up the game and then connect with foreigners?
Interesting questions. Um, I think, look, first of all, I would say I would have to admit that I have a privilege. That my family is from middle income, and they emphasize educations on me. That is very important for me to get a good education so I can get better job
Mm,
or better connections and push me forward.
mm,
And
mm,
they never burden me. I don't need to support them. They always supportive for me,
mm,
so that's why I can get the most out of the life, because I can do whatever I want pretty much. But I understand that some people might have struggle. They might need to support their family. They might not get the best educations, um, and connection as well. So I will admit that I have a privilege in that term. And for those
mhm,
who don't have it, they might need to work harder to be in a place
mm,
where they want to be, because there's no one to support them,
mm,
or they don't have the access as I had
mm,
when I was starting up.
mm.
Um, so I think they I can't really advise because I felt bad for people who are who are not in, we're not starting from the
Not
same
in the
start,
same position.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course,
So
you don't have the same resources, but I'm sure there would have been a point in your life where you're like, oh, this could be a shortcut for other Indonesians who may not have had the same resources, but maybe
yeah,
like, oh, here's a tip, here's a great thing that's gonna be the one thing that changes their life, or
yeah,
just
that's
a
true.
mindset or an attitude.
Yeah, I understand. So the reason why also I wrote the book, the book is in Indonesian. It's called like How I Traveled to 35 Countries for Free, which I
Oh,
did. Yeah. So the message behind this is like for, especially for women, for young women, to not limit themselves. That they can do it as long as they put their mind on it, they work hard towards it. Of course, there's conditions where it could happen, right? The motivation behind writing that book is I want to share my experience, how I get to travel abroad, doing cool stuff, volunteering work, doing internship, get scholarship for master degree fully funded, to attend like conferences, meeting leaders in the world, meeting my president, etc. Through a competitions, through scholarship that I try. And to be honest, it wasn't like the first attempt that I got all the scholarship, all the opportunity. I tried so hard.
mm,
I failed many times too. And
mm,
I think the key is not to give up. There were some point in my life that I thought, okay, I'm so tired of trying out again and it failed. Like once you fail, you're like, oh, like you kind of lose hope a bit, but then you
yep,
start thinking, should I try again? Should I not? Should I just,
mm,
shift my attention? But at the time, I was so persistent of what I want. I've always been. So like I try again. I asked people who got the scholarship how it happened to them, like how they got
mm,
that, and after some time then I got the scholarship to go to Australia. And
mm,
when I was in Australia, I tried again, like conferences, seminar that fully funded to go to COP 15
Mm.
in Paris, for instance, or to
Mm.
conferences around Europe, in the US, Silicon Valley, whatever. Just because I keep trying, and I
Mm.
never give up, and I try to connect, make a network of people
Mm.
that I think beneficial, like giving me input and mentorship of
Yeah.
the things that I want. And like just reach out to people that might help you out. Like I think it's
Yeah.
also the same with business. Like you just reach out, like, hey, can I talk? Can I ask you
Mm.
questions? And more than not, people will be more than happy to share the experience and to help out. Yeah.
That's so true. So basically, what I've gathered from what you were saying, the core elements of what you were saying is that be brave.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and ask, for that help and pick people's brains, as
Mm-hmm.
well as be persistent
Yeah.
and be consistent. So just continue asking a lot of questions
Mm-hmm.
and really having that mindset of being inquisitive. There's a very sort of technical word in Australia or
Mm-hmm.
in the English language is called
Mm-hmm.
inquisitive. It's someone who really takes an interest in something. For
Yeah.
example, you see a child or a teenager, they'll ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and ask. And so what you're saying is have that kind of attitude as an Indonesian, and you'll get very far. Is that what you're saying?
I totally agree with you to keep on trying.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had a look at your socials. You've got so many things going on. If
Yeah.
if there's like an Indonesian person, local, or another type, maybe Malaysian or Filipino, or people who are locals who want to get in touch with you, or is there anything that you provide that sort of helps others step up?
Sure, you can reach out. Sorry, the service that I give or what?
Yeah, services, sure.
Okay. So yeah, I'm like our conversation just now. I'm so interested in the environmental and sustainability business. So
Yep.
if you wanna, build a sustainable house in here, I'm more than happy to
Mhm.
help to give some advice what I've been doing so far. And if you're traveling to Bali, my husband and I brought this very cliche but useful information about traveling to Bali, especially for honeymoon couples. So we brought we write a blog called balihoneymoonguide.com. There
Yep.
you can find based on the area, Mundu, Canggu, Seminyak,
Yep.
Sanur, all the area of what to do,
Mhm.
places to go, accommodations, activities,
Mm.
blah blah blah. That's like a very basic information. Like if you're gonna travel here, will help you to navigate around.
Yep.
What else the service that I give? Yeah, if you wanna looking for a environmental consultant, advise you for like doing more low impact business in Bali
Yep.
or sustainable business in Bali, more than help
Yep.
how we can work together or partnership, or I can
Beautiful.
connect you with people that is in the same industry as well. Yeah.
Nice. And
Yeah.
so, I guess going back to the original question, in terms
Mm.
of helping other Indonesians or other Asians, you've obviously written a book that's
Yeah.
that's inspiring. How do people get a hold of this book?
You can purchase it online. It's
Hmm.
published by Gramedia. Gramedia is the biggest publisher in Indonesia. They have also bookstores all around Indonesia. Um,
Brilliant.
and yeah, and I have also another book about mental health. It's a bit
Mm.
different topic, but I think
Sure,
it's
it's perfect.
also it's also very important to raise awareness. It's called a happy mood. So like very simple way every day that we can do to uplift our mood to get a stable mental state. It's
It's
for
a
young people.
reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Cool. Is
yeah.
there is there any discounts that you can offer for for the viewers from the Bali Expats group? Can we create a discount code or an offer code? Is
Yeah,
that
of
possible?
course. Yeah, of course. I'm more than happy to give a discount. We can set up on the description link.
Well, yeah,
Description link. I don't know
we'll
how.
do that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's figure it
I
out.
don't know how you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
Okay.
reach out to me too. But happy to help to give a discount code as well through Chris.
Beautiful. Now, my last question.
Mm-hmm.
It has been an absolute pleasure. What kind of advice would you give to someone? Actually, no, I've got two questions. Sorry. Let's dive into this other one. How do you see Bali's future in both, uh, in terms of its economy and its role as a global hub for entrepreneurship and creativity, bringing people from all walks of life to the country?
Okay, very interesting questions. Um, uh, the first question is how I see Bali in the future.
Mm. Yeah.
It's challenging because Bali has been the center of a tourism in Indonesia since 1975. The
Mm.
introductions of Bali as a tourism hotspot. Um, but with this current, development, we're not sure of how it will emerge. It's still, of course, like if you say to people around the world, Bali, they know what Bali is. They know where it is.
Mm.
It's very strong image of Bali as a holiday destination.
Mm.
But that's why it's very important to keep the culture, to keep the environment, to keep it still nice for tourists to come, because otherwise it will damage and people start not liking to come to Bali, and then because everything built around Bali has been to support tourism industry.
Mm.
Tourism if tourism decline, then the main source of livelihood of 70% of the local here will
Drop out.
yeah. So yeah,
Mm.
that's why even me and my husband, after investing a few properties here, we think about maybe we shouldn't invest more in Bali because we
Mm.
don't know what will happen in the future,
Mm.
yeah.
So, are you also looking at other islands such as Lombok,
Yeah, exactly.
Grenada?
We were in Kuta Lombok a
Yep.
few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was texting you, and we saw how it is so nice. There's no traffic, but the
Yep.
facilities are there. So nice
Yep.
cafe, nice restaurant, and
It's like Bali back in the early
yeah,
2000s.
that's what they said. I don't know how is it. I wasn't here,
Yeah.
but it was really nice. Like there are facilities, and they have a big road because there is this Mandalika. What is it? The racing sport, right? They have the racing. They have
Oh, right.
yeah. So there are
Okay.
like the infrastructure there. It's already set up to be able to
For
accommodate
tourism.
people, yeah, a lot of people, but not in Canggu because it
Oh.
wasn't designed for massive tourism. That's why we always find the traffic in Canggu, right? So it's different from
Yeah.
Kuta. We thought, oh, maybe we can just invest in Kuta. It seems like it has very positive outlook, and like the future is bright for them, for this
The
area, I mean.
island.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the
Okay.
island, yeah, but not everywhere in Lombok, for so just like in Bali too. Not everywhere is ideal for tourism.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and with the second question is the Bali entrepreneur. So I think the type of entrepreneurs that can live in Bali is very particular. Not
Mm.
all type of business that you can do here. Like mostly focus on either is digital entrepreneur
Mm.
or tourism based, or like property based.
Property base. Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Or,
property
or
focus.
or health and wellness, obviously, because you've got
Yeah,
yoga
exactly.
retreats and all
Yeah,
that sort of stuff.
exactly. In fact, we have this how to say, like a company in Bali before that tried to get more traction of a startup industry in Bali for the
Mm.
local. But usually what happened is once they develop, they will move to somewhere more closer to the center, like in Jakarta or Surabaya, because that's
Yeah.
where the traction, that's where they can find
That's where the larger
networks.
middle class
Yeah,
lives.
yeah,
Yeah.
network investment, or the clients or the users. Bali is not really focused on the
Mm.
entrepreneurship side.
Mm.
So that's why I said, like, maybe this the type of entrepreneurs that can
Mm.
flourish in Bali is very
In
particular. Yeah,
particular markets. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha.
particular
All
market.
right.
Yeah.
So, last question, Olivia. Finally, what advice would you give someone who's looking to start a business or property in Bali?
Okay, advice that I give. I think just like you outreach to a lot of people. I think it's very good that you outreach. um, and then just trying to learn the culture here, because doing business in Bali is very different maybe from Western world. You need to just go with the flow, to just enjoy life, not to push through, and respecting the local as well. Because even though, for instance, people have money, but if you're not appreciating and respecting them, they would not like to work with you, let's put it that way. And so that you have to, appreciate people who work with you, and give them a good compensation, and
Yeah.
make them like feel welcome, not just like boss and staff, for instance. Just like trying to learn the culture, the language. It will bring you further. I think that's it.
Amazing. Well, Olivia, it has been amazing having you on. And this last hour has gone so fast. Thank you for attending the podcast, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you at the next one. Catch up. Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for tuning into the Bali Unplugged podcast. This episode was sponsored by BaliPropertyFinance.com, where we reduce your barriers of entry so you can easily acquire a property business in Bali.